Average Dude has something to say about...
Everybody, welcome back. It's Tuesday, and today I'm going to go over a topic that I think is long overdue. Back when Donglegate and the whole Adria Richards situation came back, I seem to have given some people the wrong impression that I'm anti-female, and I made it very clear, very close to the beginning of that episode. I said that I'm the poster child of having every reason, the way that I grew up and everything that happened when I was a kid, to distrust females, but I don't. It's only certain people, and we really need to stop profiling and prejudging, because there are good people from both genders or all races and just, everyone across the board. We categorize and group, and that does more damage than we'll ever know, because it's just not all across the board. You have good people and bad people in every single group. And we really need to start looking and judging behaviors and actions and choices that people make, rather than the circumstances of their birth. Okay, so today's episode is equality, feminism, and men's rights. So where does this average dude happen to fit in? Well, I'll tell you what. Both groups will argue over the technical beginnings of the other, but both have legitimate reasons for being. So I really don't have a problem with either one of them, just in general. It's the radicals on both sides that screw things up so bad for the other. Both of them, when they talk about the origins of the other, there was some sadistic plan to overthrow the other. This ridiculous, idiotic, men are from Mars, women are from Venus crap is stupid. We're both human, and we come from the planet Earth. Why did we do this? Why in the world did we... come on, roughly half, we split human beings roughly half and half and put each other at each other's throats. That's so dumb. Animals aren't even this stupid. Only human beings are this stupid. If you wage a war against the sexes, humanity is not united, and it will falter and it will fall. We both need each other. Although there are people on both sides that seem to think that they don't, guess what? Males and females, human beings, we're all over the place. We're sort of a global epidemic. You better learn how to get along with the other. You're going to have a really ugly life and a hateful, just unfriendly, sad life if you don't. Come on. Both of these movements they gained momentum because there was a genuine reason. Do I even need to say that both genders have had unfair advantages and disadvantages based upon certain circumstances? Both have been victimized, and both had every right and every reason to have those situations addressed. That's what we should be addressing. Unfair situations and leveling the playing field. That's what both of these movements were supposed to be about. But these buttholes on both sides are just horrible. They cause these fights. Where I come from on this, and I've already said it before, I'm one of those, when I was a boy child, I grew up in a family where my mother was abusive as hell. She ran the house. My father was an absolute coward. He was the male version of that wife that happens to have a very abusive husband, and then the wife does nothing to protect her kids and just pretends that she doesn't see anything because she doesn't want her husband to start beating her. My dad was like that. It was sort of the other way around. And my sister didn't get nothing. I did. I was the male. And holy moly, it wasn't just simply beatings. I was really afraid. I didn't know if I was going to make it from time to time. You would think that I was going to just have a horrible, distrustful attitude towards females, but you know what? In kindergarten, there was a girl about my age who lived in an apartment complex that was fairly close by to where I lived. And it was the other way around. Her dad was an out-of-control alcoholic piece of crap, and her mother just simply did nothing, and she was so afraid. We were friends. Neither one of us knew the words misandry and misogyny, but we both understood the word unsafe. We didn't have to explain. We understood each other's situations very clearly. We did not feel safe at home, so we tended to hang out at, like the school playground that was close by, or the grocery store, looking at, the pack of cards and stuff like that, Big League Chew, and we did just hanging around the town. We didn't want to go home. Neither one of us did. Now, ultimately, I don't know what happened to her because she moved, like the next year, and I'm hoping that she made it out okay. God, do I hope she made it out okay. But that is, okay, there are good and bad members of every single group, and male and female. No females, you are not all sugar and spice and everything nice, and you damn well know it. You don't have to explain to little girls that other little girls are mean. Come on. I remember the fights in high school where the guys, they were kind of boring fights. If they got into fights, they were over really quick. It was whoever got the upper hand and then the fight was over. Girls, oh my goodness gracious, cat fights? Clawing, biting, yelling, pulling hair, and just non-stop. And females, you know full well that females can be extremely mean. That there would be no violence if females rule the world. Oh, bull crap. Come on. That is what we need to focus on. The behaviors. I watch for the actions and behaviors rather than the gender and the color of skin. Sometimes, and I've said this before, sometimes the abused become abusive to others. I didn't fall into that trap, and I'm going to continue. Okay, when it comes to feminism and men's rights, both of these movements and these ideologies, they have good intentions, but the bad people get a hold of these and they take extreme measures with them in order to make the other out to be the enemy. And I have absolutely no tolerance for that whatsoever. Every single human being deserves respect, and they do not deserve to be treated like, okay, no child. We seem to have a problem thinking of the children, okay? And that's a big deal. No baby boy or baby girl deserves to be born into this world and then automatically judged and profiled based upon what sexual organs that baby happens to have. That's crap. And we do this. No children should ever be blamed or be made to feel guilty over the things that people in the past did long before they were born. Okay? I have lived long enough to have seen the oppressed become the oppressors. That's the problem with empowering yourselves. That's the part we don't talk about. They become empowered, and then they start to get drunk on that power, and then they end up oppressing other people. It's a vicious cycle, and it spreads like a sickness. And it needs to stop. I'm a father, a husband, all right? When I got married, it was no longer about me. It was we. It was about us. And when you become a parent, it is definitely no longer about you. And a lot of the adults of today really need to get over their childishness. They need to grow up. You have kids. It is time to give them a better world than you were given. I don't do this. Just because females were bad to me growing up doesn't mean that I should play favorites or make one group feel bad over another. No. Focus on the behaviors that individual people make and not profiling. That's crap. Okay? Because this is what happens. The victim because sometimes when the people who have been victimized end up victimizing the others in return, the victim continues to play the victim card in order to justify victimizing others. That is not okay. Do I have a problem with feminism and feminists or men's rights? No, not the majority of them, just the radicals on both ends. You would think, looking online, that the majority of males hate females, and that the majority of females hate males, and that most feminists hate men having rights, and that most men's rights hate females having rights. That's not true. Okay? I've noticed that the aggressive dominant types in both genders, and all groups have them, they fight. And I've said this about extreme groups before. They kick, and everybody in the middle gets kicked. And no, that needs to stop. Feminism and men's rights, those are simply labels, just words. It's the players. And boy, next episode, I am going to go over some of the key power players of both the feminist movement and the men's rights movement. And you will see some very ugly similarities between the two. Yes, there are bad members of both. Don't judge all of them in the group, but boy, pay very close attention to the radical ones.